Many see the 1990s as the golden era in basketball history because it was such a great time to be a basketball fan. And I'm doing my top 10 players in this era. You can watch my top 10 players in the 1980s, but let's jump into it. Starting off with an honorable mentions, we're going to have Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller had many memorable moments, including the time when he scored 8 points in 8.9 seconds to beat the Knicks. He's also regarded as one of the best shooters of all time, and during the 1990s, he was a 4-time NBA All-Star. Number 10, Gary Payton. Gary Payton is one of the best defensive point guards of all time. He is one of only 4 point guards in NBA history to win Defensive Player of the Year. He was a Defensive Player of the Year and a 5-time NBA All-Star. Number 9, Clyde Drexler. Clyde was a great finisher around the rim, and he was a really good shooter, but was never able to get a ring until he joined the Rockets later on in his career. He is a 1-time NBA champion and a 7-time NBA All-Star. Number 8, Patrick Ewing. It's a real shame that Ewing had to play in this era of basketball. Much like the other people on this list, Ewing suffered of playing in the 1990s era of basketball. He made it to the NBA Finals twice, but he lost to the Rockets and Spurs. During the 1990s, he was an 8-time NBA All-Star. Number 7, Scottie Pippen. Pippen was the best sidekick of all time. He was a great defender, a great shooter, and a great finisher around the rim. And he helped the Bulls dominate throughout the 90s. He was a 6-time NBA champion and a 7-time NBA All-Star. Number 6, Charles Barkley. Barkley was an undersized power forward who played the position better than most. After 8 long seasons with the 76ers, he was traded to the Phoenix Suns, where he had the best season of his career, leading his team to a 62-20 record, but eventually losing to the Bulls in the finals. He was a 1-time MVP and an 8-time All-Star. Number 5, John Stockton. John Stockton never missed the playoffs in the 90s with the Jazz. John Stockton was an efficient shooter, and he's also the all-time leader in both assists and steals. Enough said. He led the league in assists 7 times in the 90s, and he's also an 8-time NBA All-Star. Number 4, Karl Malone. Remember how I told you that John Stockton leads the NBA in all-time assists? Yeah, Karl Malone is the second leading scorer in NBA history, and there's no coincidence about that. The Mailman and John Stockton were a dynamic duo that helped lead the Jazz in the West throughout the 90s. Karl Malone was one of the fiercest competitors ever. He was a 2-time MVP and a 9-time NBA All-Star. Number 3, David Robinson. One of the most athletic bigs ever. David Robinson was able to average 3 blocks for his career, which is ridiculous. He also scored 71 points in a single NBA game in 1994. He's a 1-time NBA champion, a 1-time MVP, 1-time scoring champion. He once led the league in rebounds. He's also an 8-time NBA All-Star, and he won Rookie of the Year in 1990. Number 2, Hakeem Olajuwon. Very few moves are seen as unguardable in NBA history. The Dream Shake is one of those moves. The man was a beast and definitely benefited from Michael Jordan retiring in 1994. In that time, he beat the Knicks and the Magic in back-to-back championships. He was a 2-time NBA champion, a 1-time MVP, a 6-time NBA All-Star, Defensive Player of the Year, and he led the NBA in rebounds 1 time. Number 1, Michael Jordan.
3, that's enough, isn't it?
Enough for you?
Enough for you.
No, it's never enough.
Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. The end. But because of this video, I have to elaborate. So, he has had so many moments where he had to excel to lead his team to victory, and he exceeded the expectations. He's the closest thing to perfect you will ever see step on an NBA court. He's a 6-time NBA champion, a 7-time NBA All-Star, 4-time MVP. He has the most points in playoff history in a single game. He's also a 7-time NBA scoring champion. Thank you guys. Stay tuned for the top 10 players of the 2000s and 2010s. But until then, take care.